are times when we watch long movies and we come back saying that, oh, it was not 180 minutes, it was just hardly 20 minutes in length. We are so engrossed watching that movie that the time in front of us just doesn't feel time. But there are also times where we are watching short form content. It could be of even 20 minutes in length as well for that matter. And those 20 minutes feel like they are never going to end. They're so long. The question is, why does this happen to us? In my own personal case, I remember the first movie Avatar when it came out. It was almost 3 hours in length, and those 3 hours meant to me as if they never existed. It was so fine and easy on me that I watched the movie at least 5 times. But it's only when I saw the second part, which came out in the recent years, and I, after 40 minutes, could not stand it. I'm sure there must be some experiences with you as well, especially if you are binge watching Netflix and you finish the entire Netflix series in one night. So the question comes back again, which I left slightly unaddressed, is that why does this happen to us? Maybe, there are possible variables to it. It could be because the actors were so bad. Maybe the movie was not interesting anymore. It was not of your and my genre as an instance. Or it could be so many other reasons that we probably don't want to imply a specific rationale for it. Today's podcast is not about discussing movies, whether they are short or long. Where I'm coming at in today's podcast is a term that you would have heard multiple times, but maybe you would have not seen it from this angle, the angle I'm going to be showing you today. I'm talking about a term called boredom. I'm sure we all get bored multiple times. Maybe when you're listening to the word boredom, suddenly you feel like yawning as well. So boredom is quite a powerful term. And before I take this discussion into more directions, I want to channelize you into why we get bored and how it gets used in the world of business and marketing today. Let's dive right into it. Based on neuroscience, when we are in a boring state, when boredom kicks in, our default mode network gets active. Now, default mode network or DMN in our brain is all responsible for the imagination, our mind wandering, and all those memory and time travels that we do on many occasions. Now, when DMN is active, our prefrontal cortex is temporarily weakened as well. Now, prefrontal cortex is all responsible for self-regulation and long-term planning. So when you have your prefrontal cortex temporarily weakened and your DMN is active, you are exclusively in the state of boredom. Now, how interesting boredom can be? In 2014, University of Virginia did a research. Their hypothesis was whether boredom is more aversive than discomfort. The participants in this study were told before the research was going to start that you can actually use mild electric shocks if you want to use, and participants said that we would rather pay and avoid electric shocks, but we don't want them. But when the study actually started, the participants were given an option that you have to sit here for about 6 to 15 minutes in a room. You will have no phone, you will have no music, you will have no book, you'll all be alone. But if you feel like you can administer a mild electric shock, given an option if you choose to. Guess what were the results? The results were really interesting because 66% of men and about 25% of women in the study had at least one electric mild shock. Some of them had multiple mild shocks. What does it say? All this research says is that we would rather avoid uncontrollable discomfort at any cost. And we are happy having electric shocks for that matter, even if that's mild in nature. But it speaks volumes. This can go into multitude of directions once again, but just goes to show that how we as human beings are. If we are left alone thinking, our mind will get into different directions. So we need some work. We want to feel useful. That's how our brain is actually wired. The moment we feel that our brain is not getting used, this is where all these things happen and boredom kicks in. Now, around the same time, Google also did a research in 2014. This research developed from this trend that was emerging, which started in 2011, where the findings were that smartphones were being used more than desktop. And as you can connect with it, there were 2 billion smartphone users globally in 2015. So Google had to get into it. Why so? Because for Google, it meant that search is changing. We were changing our search results as well. Because normally when we would go on our desktop, we would research, we would study, we would plan, we would buy, and we would compare as well. But now with this smartphone penetration, our search would happen on multitude of places as well where we couldn't imagine. As an instance, we were in elevator, we were searching. We were having coffee, we were searching. We are speaking to friends, we are still on Google doing search but on a smartphone. So things had to be studied, and Google came out with a term from their study in 2014. They termed it micro movements. That people have micro movements of search, and this is something which is uncontrollable because most of the searches, around more than 50% of them, are not planned. They are all situational. So Google said that we should call this micro moments, and based on this, we have to change our algorithm, we have to change how marketing is done, we have to change how businesses conduct their reach mechanisms. So that is why you see autoplays on default mode now. You go on Spotify, you have an autoplay option as an instance. Similarly, the feed is all about scrolling, doom scrolling. It's not anymore about static pages where you go and read. How all is this connected to boredom once again? Now, if you look at some time back, when we used to get bored, the first thing we would do is call up a friend. We would go out and play, we would talk to someone, we would draw, we would do some activity. With smartphones now so much in our hands, so many possibilities of it, that friction just vanished away. Think about the situations where you go and meet someone in a gathering. You have lots of people around you, so instead of shaking hands with everyone, you'd rather stick to your smartphone on a corner and look at all the feed, who has messaged you, what's that next notification, and so on. So the interaction with boredom entirely changed. This is where I'm coming to two types of boredom. One is explorative boredom, and the other one is restorative boredom. Let's start with explorative boredom. Now, explorative boredom, as it says, it's all about exploratory nature of our brain. We are in a mind-wandering state, as I was initially mentioning you. We are into infinite space. We let our decision-making go loose. We are obviously tired, so our decision-making capabilities are also very weak. So at this point, as a business, if you're asking your consumer to make a call or pay, you're going to lapse. So who does that so well? Temu. Temu is a platform we all think that it's all about those cheap products. It's a marketplace which has no serious products. But Temu is actually a very carefully designed system. Look at their tagline when they launched themselves. Shop like a billionaire. Now in about 18 months time, because of this design mechanism, Temu was able to capture 100 million plus monthly active users. Now this number is really huge. Their revenue in 2024 also speaks volumes. It's anywhere between 60 to 70 billion dollars. I could not find the actual figures, but let me tell you how much of this is equivalent to. eBay's revenue is around the same number as well. Whereas in 22-23, they were somewhere around 15 to 20 billion, if not more than that. But in just about 1.5 years' time, they saw such a phenomenal growth because people found reason to be on the platform. So what did Temu do so well using boredom? 3 things primarily. Number 1, novelty. You go on Temu, you have so many diverse and new products that you feel like at every step you have a need for a product. With me personally, at my home, at every step if I'm walking towards my room, Temu has a product which caters to everything. So from carpet to wall to anything. Things that I would have not imagined can be of some use, Temu has that. And it's interesting for us as human beings because we are curious people. And coming at such a price point, ask me about dollar pound, I would rather spend 20 pounds and not even think about it. So that's the second point. First is novelty, that there are so many types of products that we are so curious and we want to spend so much time. And the second part is the price point. The evaluation is so easy that we at times don't even ask Temu to return the product even if they are of bad quality. The third part is reward loops. I've grown up in India. There's a specific scenario where in marriages, you have these huge drums doing trumpets like anything. And this is how my personal experience with Temu is. You open up the app, you suddenly get so many bursts of offers in front of your eyes. You feel like it's some sort of a trumpet, and for what reason? Why there's so much celebration? That celebration is all about those reward loops. Your dopamine is on a different level. You're getting hit on hit again and again. Imagine that a pound product is normally what you find on Temu. And on top of that, you get time-bound offers, time-bound deals. This is so good to be true. And Temu does that spectacularly well. The well-designed ecosystem built on exploratory boredom. Now let's go on to restorative boredom. Now restorative boredom is all about finite experiences. If you make in this state, your consumers think a lot, you have lost them. They're already tired, they've come out from a long day, they have gone to the gym. Primarily your brain is tired and it wants quick decisions. You want control back. So who does that well? Well, when you go to McDonald's or KFC, they're exactly a good example of restorative boredom. Why? Because the menu is fixed. You know that you like the classic signature KFC chicken, and when you go to McDonald's, you know what you're going to eat. So that finite menu lets your thinking be in control. You don't have to ponder a lot. You know your experiences, you know the feeling that you're going to feel great having and eating those products. Maybe later on you will regret. We all do. But where I'm coming at is that these finite experiences make your decision making faster. Who else does it? Amazon does it. Now, Amazon is equally both an explorative as well as in restorative. So how in restorative? So when you go on Amazon, there are two ways you do the search. You either go on the platform, you're trying to see which new product, or you know the product, you're trying to compare those brands basis on price point or the customer reviews, star ratings and so on. But then at times, you know what you're going on Amazon for. As an instance, buy it again, the option that Amazon gives you, or subscribe and save, where you can subscribe for products, you know, and it's all well done and dusted. So that is how Amazon plays on restorative boredom. Am I saying that we as human beings are always in a boredom state? Well, in a way, yes and no as well. How? We oscillate in our behavior throughout the day. We have attention spans, we are focusing on things, and we get tired. And when that tiredness kicks in, we can be in either explorative state or in restorative state. Maybe the next time I should avoid watching one movie too many times because I want to keep the newness in place. But at times I can't help. As an instance, if I go to KFC, no matter how many times, the novelty and the likeness and the feeling of it is always there. Maybe I'm a KFC fan. I hope you enjoyed today's content. My name is Rachit Kapoor and you have been listening to The Marketing Guy. Before I see you in the next episode, as I always say, what matters more than boredom is that you take good care of yourself. I will see you very soon.